Good morning, boys and girls. It is I, and today we are continuing our campaign. We took over the great land of Poland. We incorporated that into our country. We're increasing speed a little bit. Unlike a lot of people, I actually play it kind of slow. I don't know why, but we're doing this Anschluss. We're gaining political power. And as soon as we get enough political power, we're getting our little democratic guide to try to make us a beautiful democracy. And we're just pretty much just waiting patiently to see what's going to happen. And overall, I think probably the more logical option is we're going to do the Anschluss. I might do Munich. A lot of it just depends on this guy. He doesn't really like us. I wonder if we can improve relations with him. A lot of it is just trying to get people to like us enough that these people don't like me at all. And they're definitely not going to like me once I take over Austria. But, a lot of it is just a calculated gamble. If we get the Sudetenland or not. If we get the Sudetenland, that's great. If we don't get the Sudetenland, that's a shame. But, I'm not that concerned about it. As I said before, I'm trying to be a democracy, and I'm trying to get the world. I'm trying to become a democracy, sort of kind of like how Germany emerged after the Second World War. But ideally, we're going to have as much land as humanly possible, because I think that's like the thing that we should do. And I almost forgot we're in war in Spain. I almost forgot that's what happens when you don't play for a little bit. Which actually is good, because this means my forces in Spain are probably nice and rested and ready. Which is good. If you want... Which was part of my strategy overall. My strategy was to make sure these little fellas were all ready when I go down there like that. So this way I have 3 rested troops. They're nice and rested after they did their thing over in. They went up there. They got out. They did good. We have a little thing there. Overall, I'm pleased with this progress. Whenever in real life, these guys didn't get this thing done until like the middle of 1939. And instead of for the most part, at least in this aspect, the goal is, a more real life option would be like some sort of thing in which, I have no problem. Probably the best bet is just reduce the pocket. Generally, there's 2 schools of thought when it comes to encircling large units of forces during wartime. One of them is to reduce the pocket. The second one is to seal the pocket and make sure no one from the outside goes inside. And the third one is to keep advancing. And, in that situation, a good example is the beginning of the Barbarossa campaign after, when they took over, when they reduced this pocket over here. I think it was Blair Litovsk. I'm not exactly. I think it was. It was immediately before they took over Minsk. It was like that first little battle. And they did have 2 options. One of them was sealing off that pocket. And in retrospect, some people, such as Guderian, actually just wanted to ignore that circle, and instead they wanted to make a wider circle over by Smolensk, which is... Let me just scroll over here while I'm doing this. So instead of a little mini pocket, they wanted to make a big pocket, almost like over here. So literally this entire area of the Soviet Union would just be one gigantic pocket. And the problem is that the first one was actually kind of leaky. So, in that situation, obviously the Germans did great in the beginning. But in this situation, I'm just happy that I got these little fellows in the pocket. And they're probably going to be destroyed sooner or later. So it makes sense to eliminate this pocket instead of doing a giant pocket, which we can't really do anyway. And it looks like Franco is actually doing the right thing and moving men in here to try to keep everything nice and sealed. And that's, of course, if the Republicans could actually counterattack, which I don't think they'll be capable of it. So once again, I'm making a lot to do about nothing. And that's pretty much it. We did that. The men are attacking there. But, it's just one of those war debates. Like, how could have Hitler won in Barbarossa? And the only real thing that my overall opinion is that he couldn't. The only people that could conquer Russians are Russians. And that's pretty much it. And if he tried to advance to Moscow after, say, the Battle of Smolensk, he would have simply had the southern half of... He would have all the Soviet Union units in Ukraine just to smash right into his flank. And last time I checked, that was actually like the bulk of the Soviet army. Like, overall, that was actually one of their better units. So actually, in some ways, if a Soviet unit was going to have like the ability to fight out of a pocket, it would have been probably during the Battle of Kiev. But it wasn't Kirov. I believe that Soviet commander certificate. Kirov was like a guy, was just like a political figure up in Leningrad that, like, his assassination started the Great Purge. But a lot of cases, most people blame Stalin for killing him as an excuse to start the Great Purge. So it really depends who you talk to. It would seem like Stalin would be the type of person to like orchestrate an assassination as like an excuse to like assassinate other people. You're going over there. Okay, we got Anschluss. Österreich ist Deutsch. Österreich ist Deutsch. Ja. As we can see, Österreich ist Deutsch. Ja. Das ist gut. And we're gonna go you. And you. Just because we're going Democratic doesn't mean we're just gonna beef up our military industry. So that way a bunch of pointless idiots gonna later have like careers in it, and they could walk around. As I said before, the only thing I really learned when I was in the army is that there's a large number of people that are willing to kill their own families if it means a promotion. We'll take care of these things in a little bit. Yes, we got free milk. What did I just say? Oh yeah, there's large numbers of people that will be more than willing to kill their own parents if it meant a promotion. So, in that situation, it's... If you going off on a tangent, but for example, if you do read about, say, actually, how do we need all these? Good. So we're actually okay. We got let's produce more Panzers. But if you read some. If you read the testimony of some like concentration camp guards or even extermination camp guards, I mean, a good example would be Rudolf Höss, who was the commandant of Auschwitz. I mean, ultimately, if you want to read a guy who is truly remorseful for his actions, he's probably the person to like read on, just because like a lot of them were just pretty much assholes until they were dead. Or at least they were kind of, you notice a lot of denial, stuff like that. But if you wanted it, like, I mean, it's, for the most part, if you want to see, if you want to listen to a guy who is truly sorry, he's probably the, So according to us, we need 725, which we don't have. Alright. But, ultimately, it's, if you read him, he seems remorseful, and he kind of like showed like the thought process of a guy. Yes, we're going Democratic. Schumacher. Who is this guy? Yeah. I kind of find it funny, kind of like where Hitler and we were like introduced like a democracy supporter into our cabinet for the express purpose of completely undermining our rule. But that's what we did. And that's okay for me. But, just overall, it is one of those things where you kind of just see, like, the viewpoint. It's like there was a bunch of things leading behind it. There was that obedience to authority, Milgram. There was Ash, who was basically just, was doing a study on what you would call, like, peer pressure. That was the line experiment, if you... there are 3 lines. 2 of them were like, one of them was like a lot smaller than the others, and one was a lot bigger. And like a researcher asked everyone if all the lines were like similar, and what he did just have like a couple people there in cahoots with them, and they all said the lines are like the same. And then about like half the time when they came to like the person doing the experiment, he just agreed with everyone that it was the same, even though the lines were different. So it's, if people say something, people are just likely to go along with it, even if it's clearly wrong. So, if you're just like ended up being a concentration camp guard over in Auschwitz, there's a good chance that, you had the conformity. You had the conformity, you had the peer pressure, and the third one that people don't talk about a lot too is just it's the whole Zimbardo thing. Basically, if you had certain situations develop, people were basically turned into sociopaths. Okay, you guys can't fight. Can you fight there? Yes, you can. So, it's one of those things that, like, it was like a breeding ground that some people just naturally turn into sociopaths if they could get away with it. Some people conform. There was like all these little factors, and it all came to play. But hopefully, we won't have to deal with this situation in real life, because Ideally by November 1938, like when the whole Kristallnacht thing started. Hopefully it will be democratic by then. Or at least, the Zentrum is going to be obviously... Okay. Daily change is bad. Yeah, they're just saying it's bad because for reasons I do not understand, they think that I want to be fascist. No, I wanted to be fascist until I got to Anschluss, and then I slowly want to become democratic. So ideally, we'll be a democracy, and we'll have all this land. And probably we might be able to get some sort of claim on some nearby fascists. For example, these people that were turning fascist. And Hungary and Romania, because they're fascist now because of us. So at least I think that would be like a fitting thing to do. Turn the world fascist and then conquer them in the name of democracy. And freedom. So this all, at this point, we're really just... we're getting our little democracy movement going. If we had to fight a civil war, so be it. I wish there was a way to sort of... I'm going to look up this Schumacher guy. I'm going to hit this on the computer next to me. Actually, I have an iPhone next to me. Schumacher. I know during this time I looked up... it doesn't really matter, but I know during this time, like Adenauer was that sort of like hiding behind the scenes over in Cologne. What happened is that in the early 1920s, he was the mayor of Cologne, and he was getting like upset with this one guy, Stresemann, who was the foreign minister at the time during the Weimar period. And he wanted Rhineland to join, either be like an independent state in Germany, or actually to declare its independence proper and sort of like become like a French protectorate. And that didn't really work out that well. So it's just kind of like, it's like pretty liberal thinking. So, when the Nazis did take over, it wasn't really a good thing for him. So he sort of like spent most of the war under the risk of either going to a concentration camp or basically just hiding. He was able to stay undercover, and if you think about it, that's just an achievement in itself. Other people like Willy Brandt just saw the writing on the wall and just like, escaped to Norway. Which... is good, but, it's... I kind of have a little bit more respect for a guy that sort of just, like, hid and, ran the risk of essentially being thrown in a camp throughout the entire war. Alright, good. We're getting some support equipment. A lot of support equipment. A little too much support equipment, if you ask me. So we got that. Total artillery. We want some total artillery. Or take some total artillery. Alright, I'm kind of okay for now. We need some Messerschmitts. We need some Heinkels. And what all crap. I heard these things were shit in real life, but I don't really have a choice. Yeah, I don't really have a choice. Or at least that way you think like you have something to play with, No, we're going to be giving you some anti-tank equipment in a little bit. Hold your horses. I heard they were useless in real life, but, at least this way it gives soldiers peace of mind that more divisions. Infantry division, you could go with Onstein. We all love Onstein. We get a Gebirgs. Oh yeah, we have all these frickin' units. Got another Gebirgs. We'll deal with all this crap later. Other Gebirgs. Another infantry. Remember, these are frickin'. I don't know if these are any good or not. Don't want to count. Actually, it might actually be useful. Okay, good. Now we got them all. Onstein has his crap units. Okay, this is Austria's. There. Pretty much they're the same as ours now. So I have to think. Yeah, we do this to make them 20s. This is our infantry. Good. And later, we're going to add anti-tanks. Alpenjägers. We have Alpenjägers or Gebirgs. They pretty much mean the same exact damn thing, I know, but Alpenjägers. Okay. Gebirgs. Okay, what are these? It's not that bad. Alpenjäger. Probably expand those in a little bit. Schnell Division. Schnelle Schlecht. Change those later on. But overall, I'm just appreciative. I mean, it's if you have a choice of having like a division or not having a division. I mean, I'm not going to say like, oh, you're Alpenjäger divisions. This is the worst thing on the face of the earth. You know, it's, I don't know. If you're given an Alpenjäger division, what would you do? What do you say? Screw you. You know, I'm not going to, like, you know, I'll just be appreciative. Like, if I was a career military officer, I'd just be appreciative to be given the command of an Alpenjäger division. You know, I wouldn't be like, screw this. I want to be in charge of, like, a Schnell division or a Gebirgs brigade or whatever, you know? You know, it's one of those things. At least, you know, I'd be... There we go. Yeah, attack, attack, attack. And you can't say you don't like me, right, Franco? Am I still being friends with you? Yeah. Plus 12, which is good. You're going to like me a lot more in a little bit once I become a democracy. Good, these people taken care of. Good, yeah. They're gonna fight their way out, maybe. But ideally... Okay, I see it. We're attacking them. They're not attacking us. Good. You know, for a second I was just worried that they're going to, like, win. They're slowly being worn down, which we want. Yeah, we're putting in urban environments. We don't want that. You guys can get out. Which is good. We're winning. We most want to find the next place we're going to go. We want to eliminate a pocket. What do we want to do? I guess we could get Valencia. No, I don't want a fallback line. I want I want all you guys. Good. Good. 3 divisions. Actually, I don't trust the AI, so I'm just gonna bring you guys over here. And you can delete you. So at least this way. Yeah, I don't trust the AI. So hopefully this will get these people to surrender. Then they could go over here. And yeah, they're doing a lot of weird things. Well, they're not, the party radicals. Zentrum is 21. NSDAP is becoming less popular, which is good. I like it when they're less popular. It was actually kind of funny because a coworker at work was giving me no one. That's just some nonsensical nonsense. But as you see, we're beating up these people. And we'll move over there and just end this. But, for the most part, you'd think like these people would be a little bit more upset with me if I just took over Austria. At least I would have. And all Poland. I mean, it's gamey, but at the same time, it's not too gamey. So, we're taking over Toledo. And communism. What's this going to do? Alright. Does this mean I'm going to be getting, like, more fans of fascism, or am I going to be, like, more... Here we go. Democracy on the rise. Prepare for civil war. What does this mean? Yeah, I'm going to do this approach. Good. Yeah, so we're going to slowly erode them. We don't want to do civil war, obviously. Because, I mean... What about our poor troops fighting in Spain? You know, and and like all the troops that risked their neck in Poland. I mean, I'm not gonna kill them all for like. Okay, good. Obviously, let's see what we got here. Okay, good. We're doing the yeah. Deutsches Reich. Zentrum is 22. Good. I like this stuff. So. Like, I don't mind if my, like, stability goes down, as long as, obviously, yeah. We'll let our troops play with their, what do we only have? 10 of 11. What happened to all my... Alright. Only got one. But we'll get more than one bloody. Alright. Yeah. No, it's like our resistance is. No. That's upsetting. Maybe a bug. Maybe Hearts of Iron is upset with me for not wasting more money on him. Not that I could really afford to, but oh well. And could go up here. Attack the weakest area. I don't feel like fighting out Gebirgs unit. Angle. Ship right over there again. And we have all this units to yank out. As we see, we're slowly forcing them away. Again and again and again. And these people are, yeah. What the hell is this crap? Oh, building slum. I'd click on stuff if it was like more factories, but I'll pass when it comes to building slots. You might not have to worry about business building slots anyway if, we're going to be doing the good thing and being a democracy and possibly taking over Hungary. I wonder, if we have 44%, could we really declare on people that really piss us off? Yeah, Horthy likes us. He was a sad character in history. It's just kind of, people are like, he was hungry, he was a puppet of the Nazis. What would you do if you ended up, what would you do if you ended up being like the region of Hungary and having it slowly erode over to the Nazis over a period of a couple of years? For bloody hell. I'll be right back.